All right, looks like we are live. So, hey family, welcome to our Inner Shaolin webinar that we have on Fridays, usually at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp, but things got a little crazy. As you see, Sifufu is the webinar that we have. There we go. Sorry about that. So as you can see, Sifu is joining us from his vehicle, but he will be here in the studio shortly. He just had a couple things he had to take care of before he got here. So we're not on Facebook Live yet, but we are on YouTube and we are on Zoom. So as soon as Sifu gets in here, I will go ahead and add it also on Facebook for anyone that wants to join us on Facebook. So real quick, if you have any questions about Inner Shaolin, how to utilize it, how to join it, what's included in the membership, any questions about martial arts in general, as well as health and wellness, we are here to help you and take care of you. So let's see if we have any questions that came through already. It looks like we already have one. Hey, Terry, I did get your message. I am just waiting until Monday to send out a thing in regards to what to wear, mainly because the weather has been really crazy lately. And so if I give you the weather now, it could be like potentially snowing next week. No joke. So yeah, on here in New Jersey, at least, it's been like really like crazy. Like it was supposed to snow yesterday, but now it's supposed to snow on Saturday. And the weather's just been kind of like just totally wacky and insane. So that's why I haven't sent out anything in regards to the weather yet. I will send out an update on Monday, and then I will also send out another one on Wednesday when it gets a little bit closer to the event, just so that way there's nothing misconstrued or whatever. And if the weather changes last minute, I will also let you guys know Thursday as well, because Sifu, Larry, and myself will actually be in Baltimore on Thursday. You can also check the weather app, weather.com. That's kind of how I just, or Underground Weather is another one that I think is a little bit more accurate. And you can just check that in advance. But like I said, I would keep checking it up until like the day before you leave or the night before you leave if you can, just in case things change, because yeah, the weather is really just not cooperating. It's supposed to be spring. One minute it is, one minute it's winter again. It just doesn't know what it wants to be right now. So that's why I haven't sent that out. So we have a lot of people from the membership site that are coming to the Baltimore event, and I'm super excited. We have some people that have been to all of our seminars, our mini ones that we've done, as well as our full ones. So it's gonna be really cool to see them, as well as some new faces that we haven't got to meet in person yet, like Terry Hall, who's on right now, as well as Bob. I can't wait to see you and give you a big hug, brother. Let's see. Rick says, Jamie, explain how do I use Amazon when I buy with our link. Okay, so super simple. If those of you that shop on Amazon, if you want to help support us a little bit more, just go to innershelling.com/Amazon, and that will link you to our Amazon affiliate link. And when you buy stuff that is qualified to be an affiliate commission, they'll give us a small commission as a thank you for referring you. So that's very super simple. innershelling.com/Amazon. That way it's easy for you all to remember. And thank you in advance if you do shop on Amazon and use our link, because it just helps us. And it'll just take you to the normal Amazon homepage. So whatever it is that you're looking for, you can look for and shop, and it will be included. If like I said, if it's available for a commission, they'll give us a small commission for that. And a lot of people have been starting to use that more. So thank you, because every little bit helps. I'm trying to think. I think we got up to $80 in commission, which doesn't seem like much, but like I said, every little bit helps us to be able to grow and to take Inner Shaolin to the next level. So thank you for those that do shop on Amazon and when you use our links. And Sifufu is almost here, which is why you see all the crazy stuff going on right now. So he's about to be walking in. So I'll see you inside.
I am here.
Yeah, I know. I see you. I saw you coming down the driveway. All right. So Sifu is going to be joining us here in a second. If you want, Sifu, go ahead and hang up on your phone and just get on in here, buddy. All right. So, this is a little impromptu start to our webinar. It's a little crazier than normal.
Bye.
But it keeps us on our toes. Sifu, Larry, you want to get out here? No. Oh, he's being shy today. All right, there we go. All right, so he's about to. Oh, okay. Should we?
You want to
start the Facebook Live? I think we should. All right. Okay.
Why doesn't it ever work?
Oh, it's paused?
It's always paused.
What's wrong with it? Why is it stuck?
Oh no. I look like I just got hit by a turtle.
You look like you got hit by a turtle? All right, well.
Hello all.
Okay. Maybe we're not going to be on Facebook. Maybe I should have just not bothered because it's frozen. So it is what it is. Seafood Larry, can you?
I'll try it again.
It's not letting me even finish. It says it has to be 4 seconds long, and it's not registering its recording.
Just
so
close the app.
It's you're gonna have to close it.
But I don't like Apple.
No, it has nothing to do with that. That's Facebook. I literally don't have any other problems but trying to go with Facebook Live. And it's only on today. If I do Facebook Live on anything else, we're fine. But if it's for Shaolin on this webinar, for some reason, it's not happy. Yeah, but you have to take the phone out and switch it because even though we look like this, it's going to film us the wrong way. That's another reason I don't like closing the app. Please don't break my phone. Okay. Sorry, people that are live with us and watching. Yeah, you have to open it up, the app, then put it the way you want, and then put it in the holder, or it doesn't recognize that it's actually the proper way. I know that's insane. It doesn't make any sense. No. Just.
Hey, all, just to let you know that my daughter's coming for the webinar, for our seminar too, next Friday. And so you get to meet my daughter, one of my 3 children. She's my oldest, 17, going to college.
Oh, that way.
So you meet her. She's a sweet girl. And by the way, Douglas, I use 9 and 3, not 10 and 2.
Are you on LTE?
No, I'm not on LTE. I'm on. Okay. It looks like we're actually live on Facebook. All right. So I'm going to kind of start this over again real quick. And let's see if we can get Facebook to focus because now it's all crazy looking. And there we go. All right. So sorry about all the technical difficulties. So we're running a little bit late. Sifu wasn't able to come in on time. And yo, Creeper, get back over here. So I'm going to start this over. Welcome everyone to our Shaolin Q&A. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, Sifu Larry is going to take care of you and get over all your questions to us. And Sifu Fu will be answering them unless it's directed towards me, CJ Jamie, or Sifu Larry. Then we'll obviously answer them and take care of you. So real quick, in case you are on Facebook and you missed it, we are going to be having our seminar next week, and I will be letting everyone know about the weather when it gets a little bit closer to the event, mainly because over here, the weather has been really up and down, meaning that one day it's spring and the next day it is winter again. So I will let everyone know, but I think as of right now, it's supposed to be in the 70s for the high and the lows more like the 40s. So I will keep you all posted and let you all know as everything goes on. So there we go. Let's see here. Rick says, I have not shopped yet. Oh, okay. And then for those of you on Facebook, if you shop on Amazon, go to enershaolin.com/Amazon. And when you use that link, if it's something that you buy that is actually where we can get a small affiliate commission, we will. And we thank you in advance for being able to help us grow. So Bob Taylor sent over, he says, Sifu, what is the major difference between what we are teaching and Jeet Kune Do?
Jeet Kune Do's concept was use anything that works. And so Bruce Lee taught like, hey, if jab works for you, then use the jab. Don't be limited to the style. Take anything that helps you. So that's basically the concept of Jeet Kune Do. Anything that works for you. Remember, what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you, but it's based on the individual. No Dak Na is about energy. It's about energy control. So it's not about style. We don't see things as style. We see things as energy. So we're not limited to the style. Like Bruce Lee says, don't be limited. We're not limited to that either. For us, there is no separation between karate or judo or kung fu or whatever. It's all energy, and it's knowing how to use the energy that really matters. Best example I can say is like, it's like cars, you know, no matter what car you pick, no matter what car you drive, whether it be a Ford, whether it be Nissan, they all work on the same principle: gasoline, cylinders, engine. That's what no technology is like. It's like how to enhance that engine performance, how to do that. The outside stuff like having, you know, automatic door lock, auto steering, stuff like that's candy stuff. And that's basically what like preference you want to pick. But the underlying principle of how things work, how things are used, how to enhance that performance, that's what no technology is like. It's whatever style you take, you follow the principles of energy behind it. So basically, I would say NDN is like a piggyback system. It'll jump into any style that you want, any system that you want, and it enhances it. Whereas Jeet Kune Do says, this don't work for you, throw it out, use this. But it doesn't say use this according to the energy. It just says do the technique. So we're more into the in-depth, we're behind the scenes, we're there more in the front scenes. So that's basically what it really is. So they both go hand in hand in terms of, hey, make it work. You know, if this fails you, throw it out the window. Don't try to use strength to help you. Use another technique that'll compensate for you. And NDN says, when you use that technique, here's how to maximize that technique for you. That's really what it does. So whatever technique you pick, like Jeet Kune Do says, just pick what works. NDN says, now that you pick what you want, let's make it work to the most optimized, most efficient, proficient energy control you can.
Which is awesome. Let's see here. So Michael says, hey, Sifu, ever try block training in Wing Chun? Use wooden blocks to stand on and sink, and it develops stance, but sore on knees. Just curious.
I haven't used blocks, but I've used bricks. So it's the same
Similar
difference.
thing, right?
It's the same thing. I've stood on bricks and done it. So yeah. The reason why you're sore on your knees a lot is because you're struggling to stabilize. And once you get good at it, it doesn't become sore. You're actually straining. If you're like feeling a lot on your knees, it's your body's trying to find that stability, and that's causing you to ache because of that. But I've done it, and the idea is really you find that connection, that root. When I practice, I find the root. It's a kind of same theory that when we teach people to do Som Tao one leg. I'll tell them to go from here, and I'll tell them, like, if you can see me here, so you can see, I tell people, find the root, bring up your leg, and bring out your leg as fast as you can, and you sink into the ground with that. Don't try to hold your leg up. Just find the root and keep your leg to whatever you can handle. So if it's too high and you're struggling, bring the leg down, and not the knee, just from the knee to the ankle. So you don't want to go like this and drop the leg. You would, if you can't handle that, then you bring it in while maintaining this. You want to keep this 90 from the ground and bring your knee in to lessen the weight and the leverage. So, but it's to teach you how to move and find the root in your movements. So that's what you can do. Whether you use a brick or not, or a piece of wood or not, it doesn't matter. It's the connection to the ground. That's what you train. That's what, when you're doing like wood blocks or training, you're finding how to connect to the ground when you kick. That brick in there is just makes it harder because it's not connected to the ground. So there's an instability. So you have to find a connection from that into the ground. So you're really learning how to, when you're moving, like when you're hitting, you're not learning how to like throw yourself. You learn how to root drive and maintain that root. So the same thing when you're hitting, I'm finding the ground. I'm not taking myself off the ground. Can you throw your weight and turn your hips? Yeah, in boxing they do that. In Muay Thai they do that, and that works fine. But that's external. Internal is about finding the connection to the ground and learn how to generate power without trying to throw your weight behind your punch, but put your energy, your force, your connection behind the punch. So you're not throwing your body behind, the shoulder behind, whereas boxing, Muay Thai say put your shoulders behind it, put your body behind the shoulders. For us, it's not about putting it behind the shoulders. It's about getting the drive from the shoulder to the elbow to the wrist, and the wrist to the point. So we're like a knife. We're just trying to stab straight in. We're not going like this and just trying to throw anything we can. We got to get that focus behind it. Without the focus behind it, it becomes more, and it's less energy efficient. It becomes more energy cost. So we want to maximize energy with minimal effort.
Sounds good to me. Minimal effort and maximum energy.
But that's what the bricks are for. It's to help you try to find that energy control without straining the body and losing that stability and connection.
Awesome. So Super Larry sent over from DJ, any suggestions on how to best spend time when training alone? Is shadow boxing useful, heavy bag work, etc.?
Well, training based on three things: conditioning, okay, so training the body, stamina, strength, balance. Then there's technique, refinement of how you move. And then the third one is the sensitivity, which you need a partner or some object. To a certain degree, you can develop sensitivity like through the jaw, but it's limited. The reason why it's limited because it's not random energy. When you want to develop sensitivity, you want to feel random energy. When the energy occurs, how much it occurs. With a jong, you're setting that sensitivity. So it's kind of like knowing what you're doing, but it still helps because they're all interlinked. Within the three, you got physical, you got technique, and you got sensitivity. The technique is the mediator between your physical and your sensitivity. Okay. Sensitivity tells you what to feel, but how you deal with it is through the technique. And your body refinement gets better because technique enhances that body refinement. So they're all important. But when you're alone, shadow boxing is good. I do a lot of technique practice for muscle memory. Basically, everything you want to do for muscle memory. The idea is to get your movement to be natural without thought. So I did a lot of muscle memory training for technique. I refine, when I move, I know how to move and get everything to point. So I'm not just throwing, just putting force. I know how to put force to maximize that energy and the control behind it. A lot of people try to do it just, get more energy out. But energy can be wasted just like an air conditioner that's very, very strong. It can be 10 times stronger for the house, but if you open all the windows, it's not as efficient. You'd rather just get a less powerful AC designed just for the house and close up all the windows, and you don't have to use as much energy. And that's the kind of what we want to do. We want to make maximum effort with minimal effort. So you're refining your energy and how you move. For example, me turning my shoulder into a punch versus tucking the arm in and driving the punch with the hip. That's more energy efficient, but I generate more power. A lot of times we say, like, I tell my students, you can lessen the energy and still get more power. And it's like, how does that happen? Power is what? Force over area. So I don't have to throw as much force if I can get a better refinement. Now, if I have a better, stronger force with a good refinement, I'm going to have a lot of power. So think of it like a dull knife. A dull knife with no point. If it's round but dull, it takes more speed, more force to pierce someone. But a very sharp knife with a sharp point takes less speed, and yet it can still do the damage. So by learning how to get a better focus on what you do, and when you drive, the connection, the timing, the point in the striking, where to strike, how to strike, when to strike, all these will give you more power. And you don't need as much force if your focus is stronger. It's better to have less force and more focus than have more force and less focus. So when you train for the technique, for the focus. You're fast. And I tell my students all the time, everyone's naturally fast. Everybody has a certain speed they can move at. The reason why they don't hit as hard is because of the connection, the focus, the technique, the timing, all those makes the difference. And so it's better to train on how to hit properly than it is to hit fast. Because once your technique gets refined, you will naturally move faster. And I was actually just teaching a student, Mark, today, and we were just practicing, like, he was hitting me, but he was off, he was just off. So he was hitting me, he was going like this and kind of like just moving off. I'm like, no, relax. And I was saying, one of the things that you do is, like, if you have a heavy bag, and she's my heavy bag right now, okay? So and I would tell him, like, you want to learn how to connect the punch first, not throw the punch first. So you want to, like, and so instead of me going like, and trying to throw the hard hit, I could do light, and I just tap, boom, and she can feel the impact, boom. I just trained to get the connection and get the connection into the drive. And then as you get comfortable feeling that timing, feeling that connection, feeling how to focus, you will naturally go faster. I mean, you don't have to train for speed because you have a certain speed. Now, you can train for speed to get faster, of course. I'm not saying don't train for speed. I'm just saying to get power, though, train for speed without the focus is really not the key. Most people have enough speed that they can do enough damage if the focus is right. And that's the training. You want to get the focus. Just like if I have a sharp knife, I can have a very sharp knife and go like this, and it won't cut it because I did not do the focus right. And if I can hit harder, throw more speed, but not have the focus, it won't do as much damage. I'd rather do half the speed, but get the focus right because I can do more damage that way. And that's when you're training. You want to get your focus. You want to learn how to create your focus first and then develop the speed after the focus is right. You know, think of yourself cutting celery. You don't go as fast as you can to chop because you chop your fingers off. You cut slowly, and in time, these master chefs will do it all day. Like, they do it fast, and they do it without thinking because they learn to do it slow. You know, it goes back to the saying I always like to say: slow, smooth, smooth is fast, fast is deadly. You train slow so you can be smooth at what you're doing. When you're smooth at, you will naturally get faster. And when you're faster with that technique, now you're dangerous.
So what you're saying is there's a lot to do to train solo.
Yes, there's a lot. And that technique is very important, you know, and that's what you're training. You're training really for technique to train the muscle memory.
Right.
And, you know, and there's proper training and there's improper training. We train for the energy. We want to train to maximize that energy. And, you know, people can train. There's other people can train for like I met a general from Israel, and he didn't train at all, but he fought guys who trained for 15, 20 years, and yet he beat them. He didn't respect martial arts because he's like, what's the point in training if these guys are trained 15, 20 years and I have no training, yet I can still beat them because I'm just stronger than them. And then when he met me, nothing worked for him. I countered everything, and he was very impressed. He still said he didn't think martial arts was good, except for what I did, because nothing worked. Like, people couldn't lock him. He was so strong that he couldn't be locked, but I channeled his energy. He couldn't get hurt from people's hit. He said he could take it. This guy was big. He was scary big. But he was able to take the hits. You know, he was just block and take the hits. It didn't bother him. And when he got in and grabbed him, cinched him, they could not stop his strength. And you should not be playing on a strength-based system, because then someone bigger and stronger than you that has a little bit of skill can actually still beat you. Now, a guy with all strength and no skill can be beaten if you have some skill behind you and you have a little bit of strength. But if you're using strength as to back up your technique, then probably not. If the guy's much stronger, it probably won't hurt him. Probably won't do anything to him.
Yeah, we actually had a comment that I was going to address today where someone kind of misconstrued it. It was from another webinar, and you actually brought up a similar story about that guy, and they were like, yes, finally someone that says that strength and size does matter. And I'm like, you kind of missed part of the point. It only matters
if you make it matter.
Right. If you don't have the skill and the know-how, the physics and the energy behind it.
Being big and being strong can be useful, but you have to know how to use it, because you can overcommit. You can lose your balance through it. You know, you see a lot of times, you see MMA, some guys who are big, like the guy who was in Troy, that big, huge guy, the guy was in a lot of movies, Fearless. He tried to MMA and he got beat by people who knew what they were doing. So size and strength doesn't matter. But what size and strength does help you is it allows you to withstand more pressure on an external hit. It doesn't allow you to withstand more pressure on an internal hit, but it does allow you to withstand more pressure on an external hit. They do have longer range. You know, guys taller, they have longer range, so it's harder to get in if they keep their space and their pace. That's why you learn to do weapon striking. Size and strength matters when you make it matter.
Yes.
What mass does make a difference, but remember, there's always a positive, negative to everything. You're bigger, you can throw more mass. That means you can throw more momentum, which means you can hit harder. But it takes more energy when you're bigger. Where a smaller guy can move faster, but does he generate enough force to hurt him? Maybe yes, maybe no. It all depends on how he focuses and where. You know, 3 things matters in a hit that makes a person hurt: when you hit, where you hit, and how you hit. Those are the factors that decides whether a guy can get hurt or not. You know, where I hit, me taking my fist towards his chest versus me taking my fist in his eye, big difference, right? A finger in the chest, finger in the eye, one's gonna hurt more. How I hit, whether I glance him, graze him, or drive it directly in. Okay. And if he can see it coming, he can tense, he can brace for it, versus me jabbing him, getting him to be stunned, then coming with a cross hook and knock him out. So those are the 3 effects, not effects, but factors that makes the effect to be good or not. So that makes a difference. And remember, because I'm small doesn't mean I can't hurt. It depends on my focus. You know, a bullet's small. It doesn't weigh anything like a human being. If I throw it at a person, it just drops to the ground. I shoot out a gun at a person, they drop to the ground. What changed? The bullet didn't change. It's the velocity of the bullet that changes. Now you can say, well, human beings don't move that fast, but humans beings can accelerate fast. Okay. And the key is not to throw a fast punch with high speed. It's getting the acceleration to maximize that speed upon that impact. That's what really makes a difference, and the focus behind it. Those are the 2 factors that makes the difference, that generates that power for you. And then knowing when to hit, where to hit, and how to hit, that's going to make the difference between making or breaking someone. Like I said, I hit someone dead across the chest, they might take it. But I hit them with a finger in the eyeball, they'd probably be crying their eyes out because it hurts a lot. hitting to the nose. Nobody's nose is stronger than another person. Somebody's jaw might be strong because they got muscles, they got tendons, they used to get hit. You crack that nose on the side, the cartilage breaks. It doesn't ever get stronger no matter how much time you get hit in the nose. You might feel less pain, but the result's still the same. You can break the nose, you can cause the eyes to tear, you can break the vessels and cause them to bleed. So all these things, they do make the factor. And like I said, being big, being strong has an intimidation factor. I saw this, I was like, whoa, man. I was like, this guy's a bear. I was like, please don't hurt me. Like, he's scary. I mean, he's a scary guy. And again, I talked about this before. I'll say it again. When you look at a big guy and he threatens to kill you, he's 6'4", just solid rock, just nothing but pure abs, pure muscles, like just tense, dense, and solid. And he says, I'm going to kill you. The reason why you're scared is not because he can hurt you. The reason why you're scared is because you don't feel you can hurt him to stop him.
Right.
Because like I said, if you got a shotgun in your hand and that guy threatens you, you're like, bring it on. Come on. Because now your belief is that you have the power to hurt him. And so does he. He's going like, he's going back because now he believes the reason why he's scared is like, this guy can hurt me now. Right. Whereas before, he's not scared because he's like, this guy's not going to hurt me. So it's all about learn how to generate the power. And so that's what, a lot of what we teach is the energy efficiency is learn how to get that power right. Don't hit to knock a guy backwards. We don't teach to hit so they move away. We hit so they drop where they stand. We want to do a piercing strike. We don't want to attack their chest. We don't attack their lungs. We want to attack the organ behind it because trust me, when the organs hurt, you drop. So you ever fall on your back and you can't breathe? Like, it's not your muscles that hurt. It's actually your lungs got into a shock. And that, you ever get your brain knocked and it's not that your skull got fractured. It's the brain inside hit the skull and it's causing you to see white. So those things can do the damage. So we teach you to do piercing hits. They are much more powerful, to take less energy, and they're much quicker. And it doesn't require the size. It requires you to get your technique, get your speed, get your focus. Now, being bigger has an effect in terms of if he can maximize his technique and I can maximize, yes, he could probably generate more power because if he's equal to my speed, equal to my focus in terms of that, right, and he's bigger, then he could generate more because he's got more mass. But just remember, the bigger you are, the more energy it takes for you to move. So there's that offset there. So I can still hit hard. Remember, the difference between a guy being 225 pounds and me is not that much of a difference. I'm 175. So let's say he's 200 pounds. He's 25 pounds. It's not enough for him to say at 25 pounds, I cannot generate enough power to hurt him. Now, if I'm 3 years old and I weigh like 30 pounds, yes, that's a big difference. And then I can't hurt him. But at that difference, no, it's kind of like water. There's extreme cold, extreme hot, somewhere in the middle, it doesn't matter. So I'm like, if this is extreme, this is extreme, and I'm here and he's weighing more than me, he's only here. He's not at the point where I can't reach him, where I can't make the difference. Like hitting a polar bear. The power I generate is probably not enough. He's got too much fur, too much fat, too much density. I wouldn't be able to knock him out. I wouldn't be able to hurt him because he's just too out of the range. When you see movies where you got a guy who's like, 20 feet tall, the attack of the giant, well, you don't generate enough power. That's why you have to have, missiles, because they generate enough power to hurt. And it's the same kind of thing. You have to generate enough power, and that's the training. 3 things stops a person from attacking you, right? Knock them out, lock them out, or they get what they want. If you can't lock them out, you're going to have to knock them out. Locking can work, but you're going to have to get your hands on, get to that point in which you can seal the points and lock him. But the problem is if he's attacking you and he's hurting you and he's got the power to hurt you, it might be not something you want to do. Or if he has a weapon, it's not something you want to do. It's much better to knock him out. It's faster, it's quicker, it's a little bit safer for you than getting in there if it's a guy who's twice your size. So
4 ounces can move 1,000 pounds.
You just need to know how.
Yes, absolutely. Let me see here. Had a lot of conversation going on.
Oh, and just to let you know, when my daughter's coming, she's not trained. So if you're like, oh, you want to push hands? She doesn't push hands. She doesn't do anything. She's not trained. And
help with some filming and photography and stuff. So let's see here. You've just got to write that book, Sifu. Yeah,
I'm writing the notes right now. I got to write the syllabus. I got so much. I'm overwhelmed that I just don't want to do it.
Just work on the syllabus.
I'm working.
We need that before next week, Sifu. Before Thursday, preferably.
Well, I'll be done this weekend. I'll be done this Saturday.
Awesome.
Sitting down writing it.
Let's see. Bob says, Sifu and CJ, I can't wait until next week. Maybe we could do Qigong together at least once on the weekend. Most likely, we'll do our best.
We are going to do Qigong. So that's part
of
what we're going to do. Yeah, I'm going to do Tai Chi, but I'm going to go over it real quick on the Qigong, break it down for you. We're not going to spend too much time, a long time into the Qigong, but I want to actually break it down for you anyways. I want to go over it so you guys have it. You guys can feel it. So we'll spend maybe 30, 35 minutes to do some Qigong to get you just to feel it, to get you to understand everything that you're doing in the Qigong. And then I know that now that you understand the feel, now you understand how it's supposed to feel like, then I can move on and go for the Tai Chi. But I do want to go over Qigong with you too. So
nice. So we will be going over that. That will be awesome. And then if we have time, we'll definitely do some like, you know, stuff like if you want to do like an evening session or whatever, or possibly we'll see. A lot of times we don't have super early morning stuff because like everyone ends up staying up late, talking, training, all that stuff.
What I will say is while we're there, the thing that we want to work on a lot is we're going to do push hands, because I want you to feel energy. I want you to control energy. I want you to learn how to manipulate that energy. So, you know, that's what you're practicing for. You're practicing to relax, you're practicing to increase your energy, but in application, you want to learn how to control that energy. And so push hands is a great way to feel your energy and control the energy. Because when you're playing Tai Chi by yourself, you're controlling your own energy. You're controlling your own pressure. You're controlling your own speed. When you play with someone else, they're dictating it and you must play off of it. So now you learn how to feel someone's energy, not your own. So that's why sensitivity is good with a person. Since we're there, take advantage of having a person with you. When you're by yourself, practice the techniques on your own. You know, like the way I had to play the form all by myself. But when I did push hands, I had to be with someone, you know. But you can practice technique on your own, push hands. You just won't be able to develop the sensitivity like that.
Let's see. So we had a good morning from Glenn, and also Brian said, happy Friday and have a great weekend. And then Jason says, and Nodak Na, stagnant. Is Nodak Na stagnant, or rather, how do you develop it over the years as you discover more what to add, what to subtract, what to distill?
Nodak Na is not about adding or subtracting, because we're not trying to say this technique don't work, that technique don't work. If it doesn't work, okay, it's like I always say, it's not that the technique failed you. You failed the technique somehow. Now, if someone's teaching you to throw your weight through it, then he's doing wrong principles. Yeah. If you apply the end-to-end principles, it works every time, no matter what it is I'm doing. For example, if I'm locking her, okay, a lot of people do wrist locks like this, and she can fight me, make a fist, don't let me do it. You know, people do this, and they're like, oh, well, the idea is you want to pull their arm and do this. The problem is you're trying to get rid of their pressure. And the problem is if the guy won't get rid of his pressure, his resistance, and how are you going to do it? When I was in Pittsburgh, I went with this guy. We were talking, and this guy did training for 40 years. And he said how he breaks people's resistance. He'll tug them and try to get them to go off focus. I was like, yeah, but that's you hoping that he gives up. What happens when he won't? Right. And, you know, we're all about learn how to manipulate the energy. For example, when she fights me, right, I'm trying to go against her force. Well, if I'm trying to break her force by yanking her, hopefully I can get her. The problem is in that time frame, she could, if she's a good energy controller, she can use that energy against me. The idea is to learn how to manipulate the energy. So when we do this, we're not adding or subtracting, we're refining. Okay. So for example, she fights me. I take her like this. Okay. I'm trying to turn her. She can fight me. Now, if I use the principles that they go like now.
Nope. You can't fight.
There's no fighting. And I'm not adding any more strength. I'm just taking the same energy that I did and manipulate the energy right. Okay. And I tell people, like, when I'll hit a 5 pounds of pressure. She goes, not too bad. When I do the energy right, she goes, oh, why does it hurt more? I didn't hit harder. I refined it. I focused it. I put the energy, the time, and the connection behind it right. And that's, you know, we're not ever adding or taking away. It's like saying physics. Oh, that rule doesn't apply anymore. If it's a principle of energy and how it works in principles like gravity, you know, gravity won't work for speed formula, but doesn't mean gravity formula changes if you use speed. You just don't apply that principle. But gravity is 9.8 feet per second, right? I think that's what it is. I forget what it is. But it never changes. The concept of that principle never changes. You just don't apply it to this particular technique. And it's the same. Our technique, principle-wise, doesn't ever change. You might have to just add a little bit of something else because it's a different problem, a different energy, different motion. But we never one day I say, you know, you torque your wrist in this one. Oh, in this one, you got to pull your arm. We don't change that. The principles, 3-proof is foolproof. And we adhere to that for everything we do, whether we strike, counter strike, or we attack someone's limbs, where we attack their body, where we lock them. 3-proof is foolproof. We don't change it. Principles don't get changed. It's like trying to change numbers. 5 + 5, guys, does not equal 10 now. You know, it's like, oh, because we're applying it to water, 5 + 5 does not equal 10. 7 + 5 is 10 now. It doesn't change. Principles don't change. They stay the same. So we never add, we never take away. The only thing that will change is the way we might explain to someone how we do it, because we learn how to explain it better, let's say. But we don't change the principles. We don't add or take away. We maintain. And we refine what we do. You know, that's what our school motto is. Don't let the style define you, let energy refine you. So we're not about trying to change how you are. That's why it doesn't matter the style that you take. We're not saying what you do is wrong. We're trying to say, look at the energy control that you have. This is why it's failing you.
Right.
Let's refine it so it doesn't fail you. This is the opening. For example, a wrist lock. I'm going to say, you know, if I do this and I go like this, I'm actually not going to the wrist. I'm actually pushing her arm. I'm not going to her wrist. So I might think, okay, turn the wrist, but am I turning the wrist, or am I pulling the arm or pushing the arm? And in my head, I'm saying I'm turning the wrist, but it's not. Your actual energy is actually, you're trying to pull her into the twist. The problem is like, it works when somebody does nothing. You can do anything when it does nothing. But when you have full resistance, and that's how you can tell if techniques work. You should have someone who is a non-believer say, you're never going to get it on me, no matter what I do. And you say, okay. And you do the technique and it works. That's when you know it works. They should be at full resistance. So she's fighting me at full resistance. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it. And I do this, and she can fight that. That means that I'm really not refining my energy. I'm trying to compensate my technique and back it up with strength. And if I'm strong enough, I can beat her. But a person is stronger, I can't. So I could do this all I want. If she's stronger than me, she's going to win. So I have to learn how to control the energy, not force the energy. So instead of trying to yank her into a twist, I take her resistance. I take the force. I take the energy. I know how to drive the energy. So I'm going to take it from her arm strength. I'm going to channel it and take it away from her. And she's going to fight me now. See, watch this. So I go like this. You see how she's fighting? If I refine the energy, she moves.
The more I fight, the more it hurts.
And the idea is her strength should be returned to her.
Yeah.
Not my strength should overcome her strength in order to take her. And that's the wrong idea. You have to learn how to use someone's energy and return it to them coupled with yours. I always like to tell myself, like, the goal of any practitioner is learn how to return someone's energy, couple that with yours. That's really what you're trying to do. Take their energy, return it to them with yours on top of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say, Jason, like you're always refining what you do, because you're always, like Sifu said, you're going to start out slow. So first, you're not going to be able to handle that person coming at you with
100 miles an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to work your way up. And that's why if you know, when you're working on your sensitivity training, if you have a good partner, they need to, if it's something you can't handle, they have to lessen the pressure until you get it right. And then you work on that and you build up the pressure. Same with a good teacher. They're going to build the pressure up with you as you can withstand it and you get the principle.
The goal is, if you find that you're using strength to make the technique work, then you're using strength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't want to use your strength. I don't strain when I do locks. I never strain. Okay. I know how to manipulate the energy. So straining means basically I'm struggling to maintain that pressure, overcome that pressure. There's nothing wrong with feeling stress. It's when you strain that's bad. Stress is just pressure. And stress is pressure that you can handle. Straining is when you fight to try to maintain that. And you don't want to try and strain. You can feel stress, but you cannot feel strain. Straining is me struggling. Stress is just pressure, and learn how to manipulate that pressure. And that's what the end is about. We play the conversion game. We don't play the fighting game. Okay. And I was just teaching another student today. Pressure can't increase unless first you resist. Right. So if you're trying to put pressure into me, as long as I hold against you, you can add more pressure. But if you're pushing into me and I yield to you with the same yield as you add the same forward pressure, then pressure can increase. Well, in that time that I yield, I can manipulate. I can turn the energy, right? So there's only two types of motion, linear and circular motion, right? So when a person's pushing you, he's going to a linear motion. We curve that motion. I can easily take any force that comes from a straight line, a hard line, and curve that energy, okay? And the same thing I demonstrate the technique is, you know, I always ask people like, do you think your whole entire body is stronger than one finger? And people are like, oh, I would say not. It's like, I you think I'm that strong or you think you're that weak? Because honestly, when you take your whole entire body size and you push your whole entire weight against my finger pushing against you, honestly, just look at the size and what I use versus what, you know, you're naturally going to be stronger. So and I always demonstrate. So she's pushing me and I push back. Obviously, that puts a lot of stress on my fingers. It's hurting me because I'm trying to put a force that has a very low structural integrity. So her body's a higher structural integrity. It has more connection, more force, more resistance than my finger. So for me, push back, it's not going to do it. But when she pushes back, see, now she can't, because what I'm doing is I'm turning the energy. Right. I'm converting it. So she doesn't find the line to push me. Every time she pushes me, I'm converting that energy. So I'm not trying to resist it, withstand it, overcome it. I'm manipulating it. I'm controlling it. I'm moving it through the spiral. I create forward pressure, but any pressure comes at me, I turn it away. And it allows me to still put pressure on her, but anything that comes at me, it gets redirected. And then I take the redirection and I bring it back to her. So she's basically going, ooh, and she's feeling it come back because it's her force that I'm redirecting. I'm not trying to stop her force. I'm not trying to overcome it. Like I said, I manipulate by returning it back to her. Yeah. Think of it, the best example, someone coming running at you in judo, you grab them, you use them, and throw. That's the same kind of idea. The only difference is I'm not throwing them. I'm actually bringing it back to them. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like the best example I can say is like, let's just say she ran into me and she's running. It's like me taking her head. No, just do this whole. It's like me taking her head, bringing it down. No, just lean into it. It's like me her head and bringing it back to her like that. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm taking her energy, bringing it over and bringing it back. Now, obviously, I wouldn't do that in a fight that way, right? In a fight, like I wouldn't do it that way. This is just a physical example that you can see. In a fight, I wouldn't go take her head, bring it back to her stomach. That's not how we channel. No. Okay, it's too much of a movement. It's too big. Okay, but that's just to give you a visual that if she came at me with this mass, it's me taking it and bringing it back to her. That's the idea of everything that you do. She's pushing me or punching me. I'm taking it back to her. You can see I turned it back into her. So if she comes at me, I go, and now you can see the energy gets converted into her. So I'm not withstanding the pressure. I'm redirecting the pressure to bring it back to her. And that's the control that we want. That's what we're always trying to do. We refine that. She can't push me. She can't pull me unless first I resist. Right. Okay. If she's pushing me, it's because I'm pushing back. She pushes me, it's because I return her. I turn her energy. If she's pulling me, it's because I fought it. If she pulls me, I step. Now I can move into her. Yeah. So I'm not trying to ever fight the energy. You know, we're working with these principles. You know, 3 C's, right? 3 C's is connect, conform, control. And in order to do the 3 C's, you must have 3 C's. You must be calm. You must be cool. You must be collected. You can't get antsy. Having a panic attack. Yeah, you can't freak out. You can't guess. You got to feel. You got to relax. Like dancing. You don't count beats. You feel beats. Mm-hmm. You know, anybody who dances well needs to feel music. You know, you can't have music go and you're not feeling anything. You're just going crazy. That's like in a fight. You just throw what you can. The best example I can say is like a person who doesn't know how to swim and just throwing their hands in the water. Yeah, you can see they go up for a second or two, but eventually it goes down because they can't control it. Yeah. The person who knows swim controls the water. They know how to put their hands and hit the water to make it work for them. And that's what you want to learn to do. You want to control the water. Can't say butt mashers. I've seen good butt masher games who beat people. They just butt mash. You're like, how the heck are you doing that?
But I mean, like,
there's no physicality. Yeah. There's no physicality. That's why they can beat someone.
I guess it depends. If you're against someone that's not skilled and you're like,
someone's okay and you're a butt masher. I've seen butt mashers beat people are okay. Yeah, it's like.
You might totally get them for sure. So I guess it depends on who you're dealing with.
Well, the difference is why button mashers is because there's no physicality behind it.
Right.
So when you hit a button, a hard strike is always going to be a hard strike because there's no technique behind it. It's just a button. Yeah. It's electronic. So, but physical. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You just don't want to be one of those who throws anything because you can get lucky though. You might throw a lucky punch. That's what I'm saying. Like, so an unskilled guy who goes like this and you wild crazy swing might hit them.
You might not come out.
Yeah.
It might happen.
But
we prefer for you to be more controlled, calm.
Yeah. Don't waste energy. You know, you want to be efficient, proficient. Now, someone who's small, who's tiny, cannot use their size and strength against someone who's twice their size, 3 times their size. So you got to know how to control that energy, how to manipulate their force and bring it back to them, not against them. Because obviously, physically, you don't have the size, you don't have the strength, you don't have the power to do that. So we have to train them how to control energy. And You can always control energy. It does not matter size. It does not matter the strength of the person, because strength is an illusion anyways. No one can overpower you unless first you resist, right? Strength only applied if resistance is present. So don't resist them, manipulate them, and they can't overpower you. Okay. And so, well, what happens if the guy comes at you harder like this? Look, he never comes harder. Nobody can ever throw a hard punch at you. He can only throw a fast punch. The punch becomes hard when you meet it with resistance.
Yes.
Okay. That's just physics. If somebody came at me at 100 miles an hour, and as soon as it hits me and I can yield at 200 miles an hour, I'm not going to feel the impact. But if I try to withstand at 80 pounds, that's going to hurt me now. Yeah. It's not that they can hit hard. They can only hit fast. They only hit hard if there's resistance behind it. And if you want to prove it, go punch in the air as hard as you can and tell me how hard you hit. You can't tell. You can't measure it until you have something resisting you. You can't pick up 100 pounds of weight if there's no gravity. If gravity, no such thing as gravity, you can feel resistance in terms of the initial push, but you can't feel it pushing back at you. You can just feel how hard it is to move it, but you can't feel how hard it is to push from it, pushing back at you, because there's no weights. That's why astronauts, when they train in space, they don't lift weights. They have band type of training, resistance training, not weights training, because gravity doesn't exist, so it can't push back on them.
A really good example, though, is have you ever heard about like a really bad accident happening by a drunk driver, and somehow they survive, but sadly that
because they're relaxed and the person
died? Well, the other people saw what was happening, tensed up, freaked out, probably panicked. And that's why
they get internal injury,
right?
The resistance,
where the other person was either already knocked out, or
they're actually more relaxed when they're drunk. They say it's because they're relaxed. They actually yield to the pressure.
Right. They don't even realize it's happening, what's happening, and that's why they usually survive, is because of that. Now, I'm not saying go and do that, because that is a horrible thing to do, but that's a good example of being really, really relaxed. So Carla, she had said that the previous explanation that you said in regards to Jeet Kune Do and what we do would be a good example of what you were talking about with a technique, you know, how we refine it with what we do with no deck now, versus we're not saying that your technique sucks. We're just saying that.
Yeah, it does. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
We don't know. It could, but generally speaking, it's because you don't have the proper mechanics behind it to make it work properly. So.
You apply the principles. If you break the principles, what you lack in skill, you make up in strength. If you don't apply the principles to control energy, then you have to force energy. Simply put.
Yep. Yeah. Rick asked, is for sensitivity training, can you do that with the Rice trainer to some?
Yes, because it has that spring. It has that. So you can actually move and stick with it and learn to manipulate. But again, you don't have,
I can hit you.
You don't have random energy. That's the difference. You're creating the energy and you have to manipulate the energy. So yes, there's some, but you don't get a random energy. You don't get to feel someone who does it when they want, how much they want. But
if you mess up, it will come back to hit you.
So there is a limit to the training. Like I said, you can take a jog and you can develop sensitivity. But there's a limit to it, because it's not feeding energy back to you. It's you feeding energy to it.
And it's not going to give you that randomness.
And you're controlling it. So you know what it is you're doing. When you're feeling someone's energy, you don't know. You have to do it on the fly. And
it has one pressure. Like its pressure really isn't going to change much, like on the jog. It is what it is, right? But this, depending on how bad you mess up, the spring could hit you harder, definitely.
The spring has more mobility, so it gives you more motion to control.
Yeah.
The jog doesn't. And so you have to control it through your body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with the arm, you can move the arm. With the jog, you hit it and you have to learn to connect it with the body. So it's good training. Don't get me wrong. Don't sit there and say like, oh, well, I don't have a random person. I can't really train. No, it's good because it refines technique. You know, you're using your sensitivity so you can refine the technique behind it. So don't think that's a bad thing. It's actually quite a good thing. It's not enough. It's like going to the gym and say, I want to build very strong. I'm just going to bench. And that's how I'm going to get very strong all together. No, you need to do bicep, tricep, legs, abs, all that. So you want to be all around. It's just one aspect to be very powerful all around. You got to work other parts of your body. Sensitivity with someone is one part training. It's not the training. It's not the key. There's no one thing that's
right.
The key.
People are like, oh, if I got a training partner, then I'm good. That's all I need. No, there's multiple facets to your training. Not one is more than the other. You need them all.
You know what a training partner is for? A training partner is for to test if your technique that you've been practicing was done right. If you need to refine it or not. That's really what it is. That's what a partner is for, to test your training to see when you practice, if you practice it right. Because you can have a training partner, both of you muscling, and you can do it wrong. Yeah. So it doesn't mean anything. It's proper practice and then testing that.
Right. Or you could have like a really bad training partner that won't allow you to work on the technique and they're just like muscling you and whatever. And you just get frustrated. And then how did that really help your training?
So you don't want that.
So there's pluses and minuses to everything. And just know in time, yeah, when you can have a training partner, it's good. Do you need to train every time with a training partner? Absolutely not, because 2/3 of your training can be done solo.
Yep.
Just remember that.
It's just like I said, the partners to test it.
Absolutely. So let's see. Dante says, so Sifuno, would you recommend learning different styles simultaneously, or would you say it is more beneficial to master one style before moving on?
I always tell my student, it depends on the person, you know, what you can handle. To me, it doesn't matter style. Style is just like people say this. If it's a good system, it should entail how to handle distance, mid-range, close range. It depends on that teacher. If the teacher is like, yeah, you know, like you want to go fight for distance, don't let him come in. And you're like, what happens if he comes? Well, you step backwards because they don't know how to answer. They just say, you want to keep, then yeah, you might want to find another teacher that can help you handle in that situation. You know, like learn how to handle that. Like Sifu Larry's uncle, he was a great striking master. Like Sifu Larry told me the story, and his teacher, his uncle was a very tough man to beat. He's just very, very skilled. He learned grappling, so he can learn how to handle the grappling. He said, you know, I had to look. So but he's like, but you got to get me the ground first. But he knew that that would be a weakness. And he trained to fight on the ground.
So he wouldn't have to worry about that. Yep.
But he was excellent at striking. Like he's like very tough as nails from what I heard. But he's like, you know, like I'm not stupid to think that I can handle everything. So if I don't how to handle myself on the ground,
train from multiple
so he learned how to fight on the ground. He did jujitsu. He learned how to fight to the ground. But he said, but you got to get me there to get me to do that. You know? Right. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with training. And don't think, oh, I took jujitsu for ground fighting. I took Tang Soo Do for kicking, and I took Wing Chun for hands. You're training for you, not for the style. You're training to better yourself, and that system becomes you. Remember, you don't blend to the style. The style becomes a part of you. You don't become part of it. It becomes part of you, and then you make up your own way of moving. You know, that's why Yip Man has, you know, thousands of students. Well, Yip Man had lots of students, not thousands, but hundreds of students. But yet you see different styles of Som Tao. You see people work on a different, because you could tailor the system to make it work and fit for you. You know, music is dancing, right? Like music is music, but you dance to music. But yet when you go to a club or you go to something, you see people dance differently, even though it's the same music. How come one person likes to sway while the other one likes to move side to side? How come one likes to go up and down? Well, how come one's like to go crazy? You know, like, because you feel it differently and you respond to that feel differently. But the principle is the same. You feel the beat, right? You feel the music.
Have multiple great dancers, and you're like, wow, that person's amazing. That person's amazing. That one, and they could be dancing completely differently, but yet all to the same music.
So it doesn't matter. Let me look at the camera, Facebook, but it doesn't matter really what you call the style. That's irrelevant. You're learning how to do the technique. The technique might be found in that style that you're learning from, but trust me, that technique existed before. You know, there's nothing new under the sun. So when someone says, I do this, I do, it's nothing really new. It's just a matter of refining that right to work for you. And you want to refine it through the energy, not through the strength. So yes, it's good if you're not able to learn from your teacher how to handle a certain specific situation without having to strain, then he's not able to teach you what he should properly. You need to find someone who can. You know, if you're like, oh, you got to go faster. Like I said, your teacher can probably beat you up because you lack the skill. And so he might be able to out-muscle you and outspeed you because you don't have the training yet. But a good teacher should do it effortlessly. He shouldn't have to go out of his way to make it work. If he is, then he's actually beating you because he's just better conditioned you, more experienced at coming at you harder. Because have someone who comes at him just as hard and see how he handles it. And you can see it might be a different story. Yeah. So you got to have someone who can handle the pressure and do it with ease. And that's how you know that the technique's good. Because he shouldn't have to force you. He shouldn't have to fight you for it. He should be able to manipulate the energy and get in and find it with ease. Okay. And just because someone gets in, if he's teaching all these moves, but doesn't teach you the power behind it, it's useless anyways. The first and foremost thing is you have to learn how to hit properly. Because all these techniques that you do without the damage, What's going to stop the guy, right? It comes down to three things: knock him out, lock him out, or get the other one. If you don't generate enough power to hurt someone or lock someone out, then it's a waste of time, because that person who wants to kill you is not going to stop. So really, in the end, you want to train to see if you get the power to do the damage. Because all this, though, she pushes me or punches me, all the stuff that you do here and going all around, doing all, that's garbage anyways, okay? If you can't hurt them, then it's a useless style. And I'm not saying the style is useless in terms of that, but you're not focusing on how to get the power out of the system to do the damage, then it don't work. Now, recently, they just had the MMA guy fight this Wing Chun guy. And this Wing Chun guy got in all these hits in the very first few seconds, but it did nothing to the MMA guy. The MMA guy was like, that's it. He wasn't even afraid of the punches anymore, because like, you don't have anything to hurt me with. Right. You know, I always tell everyone, you know, when you break down, it comes down to two things: what you give versus what you can take. That's what it comes down to: what you give versus what you can take. That, if you break it down to that nitty gritty, you can't generate enough power to hurt someone, they're not going to stop, and they're going to kill you. You know, you don't have anything to hurt them with. You must train to generate power behind what you do. If you don't generate power behind what you do, you're wasting your time training that system, because it's going to fail you when someone comes at you hard and you can't hurt them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also say, Dante, because I don't believe that you're a member. I know that I've seen you on these YouTube lives and stuff like that, but I don't remember seeing your name in the back office. We have all the stuff to teach you, from close range to mid range to long range to the ground, inside of Enter Shaolin. So even though we have different styles, everything is expressed through the No Deck Na system and of energy and physics principles. So the reason, like I learn a little bit of everything. And there might be, you know, you might be like, oh, that's too confusing or whatever, but you're learning the basics. So like if you were to start with us and you went through our No Deck Na 101 course, you're learning the basics for your first year. And then you go to the 102, then you're learning a little bit more intermediate, and then the 103 and so on. And it all builds upon itself. So for people that join our site, like you're not like left guessing, like, what should I do? And we also do orientations with everyone to find out, like, what is your training goals? Because if your training goals are more health-based, or you want to know some quick stuff, you know, in case you get attacked on the street, those are two different goal sets. And then I'm going to recommend, and Sifu Fu and Sifu Larry, we're all going to recommend different things for you to do. So it definitely depends on the individual and what it is that you're looking to accomplish with your personal Kung Fu journey.
And just remember this, you know, we're not teaching you we're not just teaching technique. Mm-hmm. We're teaching the energy behind the technique to refine what you do.
And how to know if you're doing it right or wrong.
Yeah. It's like my student from Israel. He's learning the technique, and it makes the difference. He's doing Aikido because he wants to get a title in the Aikido. And he says, no one can lock him out. No one can lock him out. Because he's taking
your principles.
And he knows how to move the energy, and they can't do it. And they're trying to force, but yet he can lock every one of them out. And they're like, how are you? They don't even know how he's doing it, you know? And he's telling them, you know, it's the No Deck Na, and it's all about the energy. See, when you move, it takes energy. And when you fight, it takes energy. And when you fight someone's force, you're using energy against them. The goal is to manipulate energy so you're not fighting their force. You learn how to control their force. And that's what we're teaching you. You know, the difference, like I was telling everyone, people teach you how to move energy, like especially in Tai Chi. People teach you how to move energy. What makes us different is we're not teaching just how to move energy. We're teaching how to control the energy behind that movement. That's what makes the difference. That's what really stands out about what No Deck Na does. We're teaching how to control the energy behind what you do, not just throw energy behind what you do. You're mimicking me without understanding. So monkey see, monkey do, monkey don't understand. We want to teach you how to understand so you can improve and perfect and enhance it even better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Dante also said, he should know, what is your opinion on going to multiple schools, or rather collaborating and learning from different teachers and styles? I left my old teacher because he told us to learn only from him.
I can't answer for teachers, but when my students ever say, like, okay, do you mind if I go here? I said, go ahead.
Yeah, you tell them to test it out. Go check it out.
Go check it out. They come back. You know, they come back because they're like that. It wasn't right. They were using force, and they're in there and they're playing guys who are like, 10 years of training, and it's nothing. They can't do anything. Like one of my students, okay, he's trained with me for a long time, and his daughter goes to the soccer thing, and he met this guy who did Krav Maga. He's a teacher in Cherry Hill, and my student's been training with me for about a total, I would say, like a total type of training. He's been with me for like many, many years, but he hasn't come for a while. So,
right, so as far let's as just dedicated
say dedicated training time, I'd say about 3 years. And he got talking to this guy, and this guy's a Krav Maga. And he's like, you come to my school, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, all right, fine, I'll go. And he went there, and he came and he said, oh, Sifu, I destroyed them. He was like, they couldn't do anything to me. He's like, and these guys are training for like 10 years, 15 years, long time, dedicated training, black belts, all this high ranking. And he's like, I just destroyed them. Oh, really? Wow. Like, where are they from? He told me. He goes, yeah, he invited me and he offered me a discount to join for the school. And I said, oh, okay, cool. And he goes, and I joined. I go, you did? I was like, and I go, oh, well,
Why would you
found
do
that. I said, why would you do that? He goes, because I want to feel good about myself. He said, when I come here, I feel like crap. I feel like I don't do nothing. I can't do anything. But when I go there, I destroy them. I say, I feel great. That's why I joined. So I feel good when I go there. I was like, hey, as long as that's good for you. But
It works out.
it's all about the energy control. You know, like the teacher who says no, it's probably because he's afraid that you're going to learn something that he doesn't know, and you can come back and you can probably prove him wrong. For me, I don't care. I tell my students, go ahead and do it. And, you know, I'm humble enough to sit there and say, I don't know everything. But if they can come back and show me what they can do and prove me wrong, I'm open to it.
Right on.
But I've never been proven wrong. And I'm not saying out of pride. I'm not saying anything. I've never had anyone to take a technique on me and use it against me from what I taught them. And they learn from something else. No.
Dude, you're a brute.
I am.
Do I got stains on my shirt?
I don't know, but don't worry about that. What did you have?
Dude, if you're gonna, I think you should train with lots of people and go to different schools
and test what you learn.
And if you do, just remember, be respectful. If you're a jerk off, ain't no one gonna, even if someone has something good to say, they're not gonna show you. They're gonna feel that you're a jerk and they're gonna treat you as such. Be nice. That's my point.
Wherever you go, be ready to learn and take, you know, don't be there to show off and tell them what they don't know. You know, when people come to me with their styles, I never knock down any styles. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that you have to tear someone down. That's just a matter of insecurity. What I do is I show them what I do. That's it. And I let them come to their own decision. I don't need to take down another style. I just show them mine and they can value it themselves. And they usually come out saying, wow, that's awesome. I've never seen that. I've never done that. I've never had that done to me, where people can lock me and I can get out of the triangle. I get out of the chokes. How the heck can you do? Like they're amazed like how I can do that. And it's like, because I channel you. I don't have to fight you. I can control you. And you know, it's totally different. It's like the mindset's different. I'm not here to defend. I'm here to attack. I don't teach self-defense. I teach counterattacking techniques. I teach attacking techniques. I don't teach self-defense. We don't teach you how to defend, because you're basically putting the mindset that you're trying to get pressure off you or the danger off you. And so you play to get it away. You're the danger. You shouldn't be in danger. You should be the danger. So when they attack you, why do you have to get away from them? Attack it back.
Right.
The best defense is a good offense. So rely on that and use that as your principle and go for attack. I tell the students all the time, if you had to be in a fight and you had a one or the other, would you rather just defend or just attack? You know, most everybody says attack.
Right.
I was like, so then why do you train to defend? It's a waste of time. Don't play defensive, play counter offensive. That's your answer to how to defend. Counterattack or attack, but don't defend. It's a waste of time. It's a wrong mental state. It puts you in the state that you're the victim, that you are in danger, that you have to get rid of pressure. No, you should put the pressure. She may throw a punch at me to put pressure. I might go like this to get rid of it. No, I want to take the pressure and hit her on the point and hurt her pressure. So I'm not here to stop her from hitting me. I'm here to clear the line of attack so I can hit her. Yeah, you understand? So that's the mindset that you want to have. And like I said, there are people who say, no, because they'll say tradition. No, to me, they might have the tradition. I can't answer for every teacher. But most of the time, it's that fear of if he goes somewhere, he might learn something that I can't teach him.
Right.
And that makes me feel like I'm not adequate enough as a teacher. And so they'll do that. But, you know, a good teacher will sit there and say, go ahead and learn, you know, and whatever you want, come back and we can test it out. And, you know, it's a good way to test out your system too, to see if it works. You know, a lot of, like one of my students, he took Kempo. He actually asked if I could let him learn Kempo. I said, sure. Within 2 years' time, he beat everyone doing the Kempo. And he says, it's all because of what you taught me. I used the principles. He taught this technique, but I applied your principles behind the technique. And he climbed to the top and became the #1 student of this guy. And he says, you know, he teaches me this way, but I refine it. He goes, I stay in your principles. I, for example, like when they taught to grab, they'll go like this and they'll grab like this. And he goes, I don't, you know, when we grab, we don't ever pull. we press to grab. So he said, I do this and I press. And he goes, it effectively takes them and it shuts them down much faster. But there are a couple that they tell you to pull backwards. And so he says he doesn't do that. He modifies it, takes the principles he learns and he adds it to what he does. And it enhances it better. You know, we're not telling you to change styles. Styles is just, like I said, it's a man-made word. It's energy behind what you do that matters. Yeah. And that's what you want to look at. You know, I don't care what style you take. I don't care if you call yourself jiu-jitsu, a wrestler, a boxer. It doesn't matter. What's the energy behind it that is what matters. So go look at other styles if you want to and test out what you've learned. And you might see like, oh, my teacher taught me and it didn't work against this guy. Nothing worked. I don't know why it didn't work, but in school it works. Because a lot of times, you know, when you're in school, you're playing cooperative martial arts. They're letting you do it. It's funny because I was just teaching a student this morning. And I told him, like, I'm not going to let you get away from me. And I did a grip on him. I was like, you have to get this off me. I won't let you go. And when he does it right, but he's like, yeah, it feels like I'm letting you go, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like I'm not trying? He goes, yeah. He goes like, it feels like you let me. I was like, no, I'm not going to let you. When you do it right, I cannot stop you. I can only counter you, but my strength will not save me. I said, do it wrong. I said, randomly do it wrong whenever you want. Don't tell me. I'm just going to hold it and do it right. It'll come off. But randomly do it wrong when it got locked in. It's like, you see, I won't let you go. You have to. I was like, me letting you go is me teaching you improperly. It's not me teaching how to. It's a false teaching. I will not let a student do a move unless he does it right. I'll work with him how to do it right. I'll teach him how to do it. Or I will not just compromise my resistance or fight just so he can feel good about doing it because I'm teaching him falsely. And it's my reputation. It's my system. I will not do that. And he goes, well, that's good. I wouldn't want you to do that. And you will not get off of me. Like, for example, if I do this to her and I tell her her job is to grab my wrist. If I go like this right now, so say I won't let her go until she can do it right. And I'll tell her how to do it. I'll help her. So you see her elbows move out, drive up, turn, give me elbow, give me, that's it. Give me the good base, good drive, strong torque. So that's the rule, right? Shoulder, elbow, wrist to point. But you see, I won't let her go. And if she does it wrong, I'm not going to let her. I will refine and help her until she does it right. But I won't ever let that go. You should never falsely teach your students to do techniques. And a lot of times, a lot of schools, they let people do it because they want to show that the technique works. You got to do it under full resistance, under full pressure.
And I get discouraged.
I don't. My students get discouraged. But listen, I'll lighten up the pressure so they can learn it because it might be too strong that they instinctively resist. So I might grip from like say 100% to maybe 30% so they can do it. And as they get better, I'll go to 40, I'll go to 50, and I'll build because what you lack in skill, you make up in strength. So if she's grabbing me and I can't do it and I don't have the skill, I'm just like, come on, and I just can't do it because I don't have the skills yet. So she has to lighten the pressure, not give it to me. Just went from 100% resistance to maybe 30%. So I might go like this and don't let me do it if you can, okay? Okay, wait. Okay, up, turn, and that's how you do it. And then you do it faster as you get better with it. And see, she can't hold it, okay? No one can. If I do it to her, she can't. I can't hold her if she does it right. She does it wrong, well, I'm going to hold her. Very easy. No problem. But I'm not just going to give it to her. I'm not just going to let her do it. I'll ease up the pressure and she has to make it come off still. But I'm not just going to be like, go ahead, take it off. Like, oh, that was great. Let's do it again. I'm going to fight you now. Ready? Go. Like I'm letting her move. I'm letting her do this. My job is not to let her. My job is to get this, hold this tight. And when she does it, I'm not going to let her. See, now you're going to grip. Just to let you know. That's yes. So I would fix it. I know where the energy goes off. I know where the energy is right, and I can fix it. You know, that's what we do. You know, we're all about the energy. We can feel it. I can see it. I can actually look on video, and if you did it and show me, I can actually tell what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I actually did it with a student of mine. He was in another country, and he's like, "How come I can't do it?" And I watched him do it. I said, "Do it this way." I was going backwards. You're doing this, and I showed him what to do, and he did it. The guy was resisting him too. He wouldn't let him, but he got it off when he did it right. It's all about understanding the energy. And like I said, if your teacher's going to tell you no, maybe you should leave because, you know, unless you feel he has something to offer and you want to stay there and learn what you can, then go somewhere else. That's fine. But if a teacher is more like, no, you got to learn from me because more often, and I can't answer for the teacher, more often it feels to me, those teachers feel one thing like, why would you want to learn from someone else? Well, I'm not accurate enough.
We call it scarcity mindset.
It's just like I let my students go because You know what I say? If you love something, let it free.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes back, it was meant to be. If it's not, it wasn't. I let my students go. They always come back because they're like, it just doesn't work, their techniques. I have to use yours to make it work. It's like, okay, well, that's great. I'll come back then, you know. But, you know, I had a student that did jujitsu. He was a brown belt. And he was going to go. He couldn't beat his teacher. He couldn't beat these top 3 black belt guys. And he learned with me for 3 months. Used my principle, beat them, beat the teacher 3 times. And he didn't quit because he said they're no good. He just said, I don't want them to teach me because they were telling him how to use this strength and use this. And he's like, well, I learned how to be dead weight. I learned how to manipulate. I don't want to try and set myself into position. He's like, it's contradicting what I teach. So he decided to quit them because it was contradictory to what I taught him. So he's become my student for years now. But he took the principles that I taught him in the 3 months time that he trained with me. And he was still going to jiu-jitsu at the time. He beat his 3 top senior black belts, and he beat the teacher 3 times using the techniques that I taught him. You know, and again, he said he just left because not because he thought that they were bad at their what he just didn't want to say when the teacher says, okay, when somebody does, you got to pull their arm where I say press and turn in. Right. You know, like they do an opposite way to make it work. And again, lots of times those are strength-based systems. They're using a little bit of force. And he finds that, you know, when he was fighting guys, there's some big guys, he said he could never control these guys because it was just too big and heavy. Once he learned how to manipulate the energy through the torquing, the driving, the spiraling technique, he said he was able to move them much easier. And again, learn the techniques, go to different schools, and find that, remember, don't use strength as your means. Use energy control. And it's okay, like that. The difference is how you can tell is like, if you're feeling stressed, it's okay. If you're straining, it's not okay.
Right.
That's how you could tell if like, am I doing this right or wrong? If the guy's like, am I straining? And it doesn't mean that the technique's bad. It could mean that you're doing the technique wrong. And that's what, you know, that's what no technique is. It's about refining the energy behind what you do, not just compensate that energy by using more strength, using more force.
Absolutely. So let's see here. 2-Bit Guy says, with respect, I'm trying to self-learn Wing Chun, Kung Fu, and Tai Chi through mimicking. Is this even possible? As it seems as though they can complement each other.
To do both of them, yes. But to learn, yes. But it's proper learn. Like what we teach is we break down everything through the principles. We don't just teach you the right. We teach you what the wrong is. Here's a common way the energy works that people don't pay attention to.
So yes, you can learn them together, and they're great. They complement each other wonderfully. I mean, I don't know.
It comes down to who you're training from.
Story, but how he increased his Wing Chun was by eventually listening to Sifu and learning his Tai Chi. It took him a while to finally listen, but it took his skill level to the next level. So we teach both of those, and yes, you can totally learn them together. But what's awesome with what Sifu Food does is you're able to know if you're doing it wrong or if you're doing it right. And so you're not just mimicking, because if you're just mimicking, you're not understanding the energy principles behind it and the physics behind it. So that's why you need to have a good teacher like Sifu Fu, which you can go to Shaolin.com and go to our sale /live and check out and be able to know how to do it right instead of just mimicking movements.
The most important thing is understand the principles behind what you do. Don't follow. It's like just me giving you a fish. I'm teaching you how to fish. I'm not trying to give you a fish. I'm teaching you to understand what you do, not mimic me what I do. I don't want you to mimic me. I want you to understand the movement behind what you do. And then you can develop it on your own. Once you can understand, then you can learn. And when you can learn, you can grow. And when you can grow, you can improve. And when you improve, you become good. So that's what you want to learn to do. You're not mimicking me, because the problem with books and videos is they teach you what to do right, but they don't show you what you're doing wrong. And that's what makes us different.
Yeah.
We're gonna not just teach you how to move right. We teach you to watch the wrongs. We don't say, follow me. It's here. Right. Follow me like this. Make sure that this drive is here. Make sure this drive is here. Make sure you turn your wrist. The common thing, like if you find that you're dropping, it's because you're actually extending your arm, not turning your wrist. Like we teach you that type of technique. We teach you how to control the nitty gritty, the itty bitty points, so you can understand what you're doing behind what your movement is. You're not just following and say, okay, if I do this, you might go, okay, I see that. Okay. And you might do this and you're not even paying attention that you drop. You don't know that you're dropping because no one told it. And I would tell you, listen, this is what you're going to want to do. This is the common thing. If you're not watching your wrist control, you're going to extend your arm and you're going to naturally drop. You have to learn how to turn your wrist and keep the energy in your palm, and then you won't. And you have to watch out for that drop. And if you're doing that, then you're doing it wrong. Or if you find that when you do this and you find that you're going backwards, it's because then you're lifting your shoulders. Like, we break down everything to teach you to not just do what's right, but to be careful of where the wrong is and not to let the wrong happen. And that's really what we really focus on in our videos, you know, the energy behind everything you do to make sure the right and the wrong is in place.
Absolutely. So we have one more question that we will get to before we wrap up. So Donato says, hey family, could you please list ways to deal with anxiety once recognized the source causing it? So once you know what the source is, how can you deal with that anxiety?
Wouldn't that depend on the anxiety?
It would depend on the anxiety, and it also depend on what that source is. Like, if it's because you get serious anxiety about your workplace, you might want to reconsider changing jobs, because maybe it's the people, or maybe it's the type of work that's just not resonating with you. If it's someone in your life that's causing tons of anxiety and it's just not something that you know you can work through, you may have to cut ties with that person. So I think that really depends on a lot of different things. So I think what I'll do, Donato, is follow up with you and see if I get some specifics so I can answer that a little bit more appropriately.
Anxiety is normally mental, just to let you know that. Okay. So, it's yeah, but it comes down to the body. When you get mentally stressed, you go to a physical shutdown. So, you know, one of the things is, we were talking about before, have an outlet, get something where you can take that out. Some people are gonna get, and they go, I love to dance. And that takes my mind off of everything. And I forget everything. And when I dance, I forget what's going on in the world. And I watch So You Think You Can Dance, and you hear people talk about, you know, it's dancing therapy. Saved my life. It's therapy. You know, some people sing, some people draw, some people read books.
Some people,
everybody, some people do martial arts. So you gotta, give yourself an outlet so that you can refocus that feeling into something positive. Maybe sculpt, you know, maybe clay sculpt, you know, watch goldfish. One of the things that they tell you to do is, people who are anxious, people who are nervous, people are get a fish.
A fish tank.
Yeah, because it's something, when it moves natural and smooth, it calms you down. You can change the color in your room. If it's bright, they tell you to bring it neutral. It actually calms you down, your eyes. And so it calms your mind. Do Tai Chi. It's a physical feeling of letting your mind go. So everybody is going to have a certain outlet that you want. You know, one of the things I always say is, mind your thoughts, because they respond to your emotion. Mind your emotion because they respond to your heart rate. Mind your heart rate because that responds to your blood flow. Mind your blood flow because that responds to your energy. So take your mind off of it. That's what this outlet's for. It's to get your mind off of it, so you don't have to worry and press upon it. For me, you know, prayer is one of the things that helps me. It's because I trust in the Lord, and I just go, it's outside my control, and it's in God's hand. I give to him, and I can't worry about it. You know, for example, like finances, you know, I get a lot of bills. Just living in Jersey is just crazy, crazy expensive. And it's just like a lot of bills. And, you know, when I don't have enough funds, God brings it me one way or another. I get it. I get the funds. And, you know, and I'm not talking this happened once, it happened twice. It happens all my life. You know, God is good to me. And, you know, when I'm in my terminal time, I go to prayer. And the other thing is I also play video games. It's my release. It focuses me on that and takes my mindset off the world. So find a release. That's one of the things that can help you a lot. Find a release. And then, you know, there's a saying, you can have 1 million problems a day and handle it all, versus the guy have one problem and not be able to handle it. Who's better off? You know, find a way to get that release out and help. Maybe talking to people helps. You know, for some people, talking helps. You know, sometimes when I'm frustrated, I talk, and it helps me, and it helps me, and it also helps me find that solution. Sometimes, you know, it helps me relieve the pressure, but it also helps me to find a way. And also that person can give me some insight and go, yeah, well, and it helps me. So have someone there for you to help you as well. Someone you could trust, someone who's there for you to just for you a better lookout, not for their own self-interest. But that is great to have, you know, have a good support system that always helps people. Have an outlet that if you can't have someone there, find a way to refocus that, you know, and get your mind off of it. One of the things that when I get depressed, I sleep. I actually, when I get very depressed, if someone dies in my life and I love them, I shut down. I physically shut down my mind, my body, and I go to sleep so I don't think about it.
And it's one of the things I do. Or like that, I'll play video games. Like, but one of the things my body does, I can recognize it when I'm very upset, very sad about something. I will go to sleep because I don't want to think about it. And my mind really wants to shut down, and my body goes into like, okay, I'm just going to go to sleep. I don't want to, and that's the time when I sleep more than 4 hours, because it's just the way my body copes with it. My mind, my body copes with it. And I've noticed that in my life. I never said, this is how I cope with it. I just noticed that's how I wind up coping with it. Whenever I'm sad, I noticed it. Like, I just want to sleep because I don't want to think about it. I want to shut my mind down by going to sleep. And then when I wake up, it might go back in my head. Then I find something to do. I'll train. I teach. I get to teach people, and it takes my mind off because I focus on the teaching. So get an outlet. Find a way. And I'm not saying you go to sleep. That's just the way my body handles it. But just find an outlet for you that'll help you a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I will say the fact that you know what the source is, like, that's the biggest step, because sometimes people have anxiety and they can't figure out what it is. So the fact that you know the source, now you can figure out, why is that source causing anxiety? Like, maybe you know what it is that's causing anxiety, but you haven't figured out the why. So that's really important, is to understand that. We actually, last night, my daughter had a therapy session, and we did this like walkthrough with her. She was creating anxiety about things that didn't even make sense. And so we got her to reframe how she was looking at it. And at the end of the session, she was laughing at herself for how ridiculous it was that she was causing her own anxiety about something that was no reason to cause anxiety. So sometimes just reframing how you look at it can help. Or like I said, you might have to remove that source if it's possible that's causing the anxiety. If you can't find an outlet or other ways to deal with it, like Qigong, Tai Chi, making sure you're eating healthy, make sure you're exercising, cardio,
sleeping,
really
video
good.
games.
Right. Whatever works for you. Find your mix and stuff. Everyone's different, but find the things that bring you joy and happiness and help you be more healthy and productive. That way you can handle when these things come about. And then just also looking at, okay, I know this is my source of anxiety, but why is it causing anxiety? Because when you find the why, you can do something about that.
Can I read something?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Carla Baker says, my husband had to change everything he ate several times to be rid of anxiety. He eats paleo. I don't know what that is. Paleo. I
know what that is.
Intermittent fasting and training, praying, all of it. But it was his food.
Yep. Yeah, no, food is a huge thing, Carla. A lot of people don't realize that, but for me, I am highly sensitive to like caffeine, alcohol. If I would never be able to be someone that drinks on a regular basis or even drinks coffee on a regular basis, literally, I feel like my nerves inside will start just like jittering, like real bad with either one of those, even though they're two different types of substances. So you have to really be mindful of the food that you're putting in your body and how it feels. I'm also, I know paleo is really big about taking out grains. I also cannot eat a lot of grains on a regular basis. So it really is about figuring out the different biohacks for your own personal body and makeup and understanding what works best with it. But yeah, prayer, meditation, if you're not the type of person that likes to pray, Qigong, Tai Chi, getting outside, getting enough sunlight, vitamin D, fresh air. These things are super important. Our body is meant to run on these things. So make sure that you're getting those things. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. And yeah, it will help you tremendously.
Glenn Saunders says, Sifu, just want to let you know that you teaching is incredibly powerful and has helped me more than I can express. Big thank you from the deepest part of my soul. Always learn. You're welcome.
Yeah,
we do this for all you guys.
No, absolutely. We do. This is, Sifu Larry and I did like a quick live yesterday on YouTube. And this is what we do. This is what we do. We don't have like other jobs that we go to. This is our love, our passion. And so we're here to help you. And for those of you that are not members yet, we have a huge sale going on. You can go to entershaolin.com/live. That's LIVE. I named it that because everything that we do is to help you live, be more, do more, and just have a better life in general. So check that out. Also, if you're already a member and you want to upgrade to a higher membership level, you can take advantage of this sale too. So definitely go and check that out. And other than that, I'm looking forward to seeing some of you next week. So at our seminar, and we will not be doing a live on Friday, but we will be doing one Tuesday night. So the Friday one will get canceled, but we will be doing the one on Tuesday. So check that one out. And if you have any questions.
But if you want to see us on Friday, come to the our seminar.
Yes.
It'll be in Baltimore.
Well, make sure you register first, though. Go to EnterShaolin.com/seminar, because if we have a bunch of random people showing up, that is not going to be good. I'll be taking your credit card at the door then, okay? But I prefer if I know in advance, because I need to let catering know and the hotel know. So go to EnterShaolin.com/seminar. Check that out. Take advantage of the sale. EnterShaolin.com.
Not too late to join.
Live.
You want to come? I promise you.
Yeah.
We're good.
If you're anywhere close by, shame on you if you're not there. That's all I got to say.
We're a great bunch of people who really love people, and I really love to teach. It's my calling. You know, I went to school to become a computer engineer, but I've always felt my calling to be a teacher since I was young. But I went to school out of pressure from my mom and dad. You got to have a degree, and I did like computers, so I did want to do that. But I've always wanted to feel like I wanted to be a teacher, and I was always like, I'll go to college, I'll get my degree, but then I'll be a teacher. But the Lord had other plans for me, and I had to be a teacher at the time. He told me to do it, so I did. And you know, this is my passion. This is what I love. I like making a difference for people to improve their lives. When people tell me my training helped save their life because they got jumped by bugs, it's like, oh wow, it's nothing better feeling to know that someone's life was much better improved because of the difference I made as a teacher.
Absolutely. And we get testimonials not just on like that kind of scenario, but people's health being restored, being able to move in ways that they thought their body can never move again, even relationships restored. So what we do here is we work on your mind, body, and spirit. So we love what we do, and we're so excited to work with all of you. So we have one more thing.
Acknowledge to Sean Brannon. I'm 280 pounds, changing my diet and walking more. Joining as of Monday. Excited to learn.
Oh, nice.
Welcome.
Awesome.
I look forward to seeing you.
That's
I'm
awesome.
here to help you. So you email, and she's here to write, talk, chat.
Yeah,
even if you want to just chat.
Shane, make sure you set up your orientation so we can work with you and make some training recommendations to help you meet your goals. So yeah, we're super, super excited. So for those of you that we'll see next week live, super excited to see you and give you a big hug. And for those of you that we won't, unfortunately, as of right now, there will not be a live for the seminar. We tried. We're getting no real answers from the hotel. So unless something changes between now and then, there will not be a live for the seminar.
But we'll put some clips up for them.
Oh yeah, we always put some clips up on YouTube. But if you want to have all of the recording from the seminar, then you're going to want to become a member. That's it. That's all I got for you. But we'll see you guys next week. If you have any questions between here and now, email us at support@entershaolin.com, and we'll take care of you. All right. Enjoy your weekend. Bye, everyone.